Very good morning to you from FNB Stadium, all the way back in 1996 when South Africa lifted the trophy at the Africa Cup of Nations here on home soil. It was known as Soccer City. And that's what we're talking about this morning because we're getting ready. It's on the road to AFCON 2025. It's taking place in Morocco. The first match will be on the 21st of December. South Africa is in there. We are excited about their potential progression throughout that tournament. And so we're chatting to a pivotal key player in the South African football landscape, Coach Farouk Khan. He's the director of the Stars of Africa Football Academy. We've been having a lovely conversation off air about Bafana Bafana, the evolution of the team. Coach, we mentioned now that Neil Tovey lifted that trophy in 1996. It really unified a nation. We didn't do too badly in Cote d'Ivoire, and so obviously there's a lot of expectation and pressure on the team, but there's also an excitement around what they could potentially do in Morocco.
Well, absolutely, Stacey. If you look back at that time, I get goosebumps when I think about it. It was a nation builder. We had the Madiba magic, and I was in the stadium at that time, and I tell you, we can relive that. After what we've seen currently, the rise of Bafana and the Hugo Broos, what he's done, taking us to Ivory Coast, and nobody expected as underdogs for us to even be in the semi-finals. We were a little unlucky not to go all the way, but I think a bronze medal was a good start. I do think we're going to go for gold this time out.
So the coaches have until the 11th of December to make their final squad announcements, but Hugo Broos has already done that. We know what our group is like. We have Angola there, we have Zimbabwe and Egypt there. So they're not exactly walkovers. They're not exactly, the top teams in Africa. I think Morocco is obviously the best place and best ranked team. But what do you make of that particular group, our strengths, our weaknesses, things that Coach Hugo Broos will be looking out for?
Well, I think Hugo Broos has created a very strong squad with discipline, with tactical discipline, with that never say die attitude, with the right mentality. And I think that is going to be very important, going into this tournament. In the past, we lacked that confidence. We have the confidence, we have the ability, we have the players. I think a lot of our players are now playing in club competitions in Africa, which is preparing us. So I don't have a doubt. No, not underestimating Angola, but I think we do have the edge on them in Zimbabwe. We've proven that in the past. And then obviously Egypt. But in this group, two teams go through, Stacey, and I think we'll be one of those two.
In fact, let me look at that. Our opening match, I know, is on the 22nd of December. We're going to take on Angola there. It's in Marrakesh. And then our next match after that will be on Boxing Day. That will be against Egypt as well. We spoke earlier on about the mix between experience and youth, and it has been the talking point. We've chatted to a number of former footballers like Dr. Kumalo. We're talking to Shaba as well. He was saying that we shouldn't be talking about the players that have been left out. It's all focused behind the squad. But I do think it is an interesting thing. The likes of Ikram Reyners, who everyone expected to make it into the team proper. He's on standby. But we also see youngsters like Chandre Campbell and Tylan Smith in there.
Well, it's about team chemistry. When you get to this level of Bafana, the coach has to look at players that can really get that togetherness, get that team ticking. Yeah. And I think you look at the squad he's chosen, they're a strong squad. What I like about what he's done with the pathway, he's now planning ahead. You've got Mbukazi, who's brilliant. You've got Tylan Smith. I mean, who would have thought Tylan Smith was just playing, under 20. He's now in the Bafana team. And not forgetting some of the other young players that he's brought in. So for me, there's a good mixture of experience and youth. And this is how you win these tournaments, because that hunger, that desire you get from these youngsters is second to none. They've got to make their name. And I think this is the balance that Hugo Broos is trying to get. Get a balance between experience that guides the team and youth with that energy and exuberance to go out and win it.
So it's just under 30 years since we lifted the trophy here. What do you recall from that time? What are some of the memories that come to mind now that we're talking about the Africa Cup of Nations and South Africa, and again, that weight of expectation on us?
Well, I think Clive Barker got together a team that had a chemistry. They had everything that there was players that were also left out during that time. But Clive proved beyond a doubt that he was able to engineer that particular victory. What comes to mind is the way we went through that tournament. We met a very strong Ghana at that time. Ghana had some of the best players that were playing in Europe, and we overcame them. And then we moved on. Because you remember our first game against Egypt, we lost. But then we went on, and progressively we built to that momentum. And then who can forget the nation builder, brilliant build-up in midfield. We had two geniuses, Dr. Kumalo, Shoes Masheo in midfield. We had the general at the back, Neil Tovey at the back, Andre Arendse in goal. So the chemistry, the balance was perfect. And I think this time around, I see a similarity in what Clive Barker did and what Hugo Broos is doing.
And then, of course, in 1998, he went and we qualified for the World Cup as well. So there definitely was a legacy there. And we've got the FIFA draw that's taking place later on this evening as well. So there's also that as well.
I can't wait for that. I just want to see who we're drawn against. But I think because of the number of teams that we have, you're going to have 2 teams from the 12, the 12 groups that are going to qualify, plus the 8 third best places. I think we're going to be in there. I really think so. Because of the pod, that you look at the different pods that they've designed, they've made it such that obviously strength for strength, we have a chance. And I think this time around, we're not going to get knocked out in the group stages.
I love that.
We're going to go forward.
We've just run out of time. I just heard in my ear that unfortunately we ran out of time. Thank you so much for chatting to us. We're chatting to the director of the African Stars of Football Academy, Farouk Khan, just sharing his insights on the Africa Cup of Nations, which will kick off on the 21st of December in Morocco.